Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. It's Friday, and I am back yet again for another episode of Rapid Fire Friday. And I was just thinking of something kind of funny as I was preparing for this. I never realized how many sounds there are in our lives. I think last week I was interrupted by a sound. I think an alarm went off or something. So I thought, okay, I'm going to quiet everything. So I went to my computer. I turned that on mute. I did my watch on mute. I made sure someone at the doorbell. I had to make sure my phone was on mute. I mean, it is crazy how many distractions there are in our lives. So I hope I've muted everything so that we can stay focused today on Rapid Fire Friday. Hello, Karen. Hello, Amy. Thank you so much for joining live. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for all those that are watching the replay. So I truly enjoy these Friday gatherings. They're so much fun. So if you are new to the community, welcome, and welcome back to those, our founding members and those that have been with the community for a while now. If you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Annette Conrad, and I'm the owner and lead creative for Edible Impressions, and I'm the admin for this Facebook group called Cookie Decorating Hobby to Business 101. And honestly, the reason I started the group, as I often mention, is just to be able to share my love and passion for all things cookie decorating. And then also really to share a little bit about my journey and how I can maybe help you on your journey if you are looking to transport your hobby or side gig to a profitable business. Or if you're just looking to make a little extra cash on the side, I can give you some tips and some strategies. So we're really here just to have some fun, learn some new things together. And even though I'm 17 years in the business, I'm still learning. So I really do appreciate everybody in the community. So Rapid Fire Friday, what is Rapid Fire Friday? Very quickly, it is every week. I come on Friday at 10 a.m. Central, talk about 5 questions, wonderments, scenarios from the last week that I find interesting, that I think you might find interesting. And I don't necessarily answer questions as we go through this because it's rapid fire. But if I see any questions or any wonderments post-event, I will go in and go a little bit deeper on these topics. So they're really interesting. Sometimes they're technique, sometimes they are business sense, and we'll go from there. So I will ring the bell after each question or scenario and then move on to the next. So as you notice, I do talk very quickly. So I do encourage you to come back and listen to the replay if you need to. So, all right, I'm excited about these topics. They're really interesting this week. Okay, so the first one is I'm having a heck of a time coming up with a name for my business. I can't even start my cottage permit until I come up with a name. Now, I'm not going to mention the name just for privacy, but I'll kind of give you the scenario. So my mother-in-law suggested this name because of my 6-year-old daughter who thinks it's a funny name and likes to kind of call it out in public. So there's something a little bit behind that, but again, just for privacy purposes, I don't want to call this person out. But she's not sure that name, even though it's pretty catchy, will be really professional. She has 4 kids and she's in the IT world, and she would like to have something a little bit on the nerdy side because she's a huge nerd, as she says. So here's a couple of things when you're thinking about coming up with a business name. It is really fun and it is very clever to come up with something that is super, super unique. And yes, I think your name should be really, really unique and fun, depending on your style, of course. But here's just a couple of things to think about when you're thinking about choosing a name for your business. Well, number one, if you pick a name, don't feel like that's it. I picked the name, I can never change it. You know, I'm stuck with it for life. That is not the case. But you do want to take some time and really think about it because the name of your business will be first impression and really does play a pretty important role in the success of your business. Not only because it needs to be unique and memorable, but you want it to be able to be really easily found. So don't get too unique and too creative. So here's a couple of things really quickly. Do your research. First of all, do your research. Whatever name that you're pondering, put it in the search field and see if anyone else has that name or anything close to that name. You don't want to be too close or people will have a hard time finding you. So be original. So check availability. You also want to make sure that the name is memorable and it's easy to spell. Okay. And this one, even though I'm not going to disclose, was not that easy to spell. It wasn't obvious. There were a couple different ways you could have spelled that name. So I would caution a little bit on making sure it's pronounceable. It's easy to remember and you can also spell it. Okay. And also we have clarity. So you don't want to, again, get too kind of don't play too much on words. You want to be pretty clear on what you are offering. So like edible impressions, it kind of gives you the idea that it's something that's edible, if you will. And you know, in my tagline that goes with edible impressions on all my branding says edible impressions where great cookies take shape. So when you're thinking about a name for your business, think about maybe a tagline that you can use within your logo or just supplemental to your logo. So that just kind of gives you an example. And then really you just want that name or that image of your brand just to have some kind of feeling that evokes some kind of thought for that person. So again, memorable, easy to find, easy to spell, easy to pronounce. Those are just a couple of things to think about. So that was kind of a really long answer as usual. I'm getting really consistent that way. Okay, so question number 2 is, I've been decorating cakes for over 20 years, but cookies only over a year. So this gal was so helpful. She wanted to give some little tips on how to mix colors. And so she was saying that you have all the primary colors, and I do often say this too in my classes, is you really don't need to invest in all the different colors that you see out there, all the fancy blues and the greens and the pinks. You can get carried away. So if you just buy the primary colors, I would also add to your inventory white, ivory, and black for sure. Because by using white, ivory, and black, and in a future masterclass, probably in the month of August, I'll be doing a mixing colors masterclass. It is really beautiful and a very easy way to come up with a beautiful color palette by using the ivory, the white, and the black with your primary color. So really the possibilities are endless. So I totally agree with her. She also uses America Color, so that's one brand that I really like. I'm not an affiliate, but if you are looking for a really good quality brand, America Color. Now, I do invest in some additional colors beyond the primary, but again, that is my business. I do high volume. So when I buy those specialty colors, I'm avoiding having to mix large batches, and it's straight out of the bottle, the color I want. So, and you'll realize what are the colors that you're going to use most often, like a Wedgwood blue, an avocado green, and a pumpkin orange. Those 3 I use so often, and I'd rather have them straight ready to go out of the bottle than trying to mix that color each and every time that I need it. So there you go. Little helpful tip on mixing colors. Okay, so seeking advice. I just finished a cookie order with royal icing last night, only to get a text this morning from a customer. The party has now been postponed until mid-August. So the question is, can I bag and seal the cookies and freeze them until the new date? If so, how do I store them and how far in advance do I defrost them? And so any advice is greatly appreciated. So I don't know if I'm gonna go too far deep into how you actually freeze. I know I've talked about that in many of the past Rapid Fire Fridays and in some of my master classes. But what I really want to focus on here is, if maybe you didn't catch it, but it sounds like this order was completed on time, and now was postponed. So that was something that is out of this person's control. And so I did confirm this when I chatted with her. It sounds like she was going to go ahead and package them and store them and freeze them until later. I would say that's a big no-no. Don't do that, because your freezer space is prime real estate. You don't have time and you don't have space to manage other people's lives. Okay, I know that sounds really selfish, but this person had a change in her plans. It wasn't a change that came from your business or your workflow. So what I would do is, yes, educate, inform that client that the cookies have been produced, they're ready for pickup as agreed upon, and then maybe give that person the instructions to freeze and give them the proper instructions to defrost. Get that off of your hands. So don't use that prime real estate in your freezer to hold orders like that. So that's a really, really good question. I'm glad she asked that. And really quickly about freezing, 2 most important things, and again, watch past masterclasses, is make sure when you freeze cookies, they're in an airtight container, freezer safe, and when you pull them out, you want to make sure that they thaw completely before you open the package to reduce condensation. So that's really the 2 key things about taking care of your frozen cookies. All right. Okay, next one. Hi, I have a question. I am looking for a free website for my business, something that is easy, that he or she could use with their phone. I had a little deja vu when I wrote this one down because I don't know, and forgive me if I already discussed this one. But first of all, I'll say nothing's for free. Okay, let's just, there really is nothing that's for free in this world, which is kind of sad. Although this is a free opportunity. So I guess there's some things. But when it comes to your website, I would not mess around with anything that is free. Because what you're going to do is you might, first of all, oh my God, there's so many things here, but you might find a free app or a free program that might be free for a reason. It might be free because it's a new program, a new software, a new app that hasn't yet gone through its vetting. And so they're more than happy to say, here's a free software. Go ahead and use this. But you don't know the quality. You may not have the history. You may not have the support, especially when it comes to free. You're not going to have the support that you might need. So I really would caution on setting up your website on anything that claims to be free. What I would do is do some research, understand that your website is your property. So you need to take care of that property. It's kind of like purchasing a home. You need to take care of it. You want to invest in it. You want something that's going to be dependable. So read those reviews before you start looking into, different platforms. You want to go with one that's very reputable. And I use Squarespace. And again, not an affiliate, but excellent platform. I've been on it ever since I established my business, so more than 17 years now, and it is solid and it has the support. It's, you can grow with it. That's another thing that I'll mention is that when you are looking for an app, you want to find something that doesn't have just the basics. And a lot of those free apps, free programs, free websites, if they're even out there, are only going to give you the basic features. And that is not something that you're going to be able to grow with your business. So when you are looking at a platform, make sure that there are some advanced features that right now you might not need, but you'll want to be able to grow into it. So those are just a couple of things that come to mind when I think about, this person looking for a platform that could potentially be free. I know there are some beginner decorators that use Square. So Square Up, they have an e-commerce platform, but really do your research. And I do kind of encourage you to go and watch one of my past master classes. I had one of our group experts, Dave Paulman from Dave Paulman Design. He's an expert graphic designer. And we did a Don't Spend, Invest in Your Brand free masterclass. And it was a couple months ago, but if you go into the guide section, I recently posted some information and a link to that masterclass. Really helpful because he talks about all things, website and importance of your brand identity and such. So it is somewhat related. So don't want to get too much on a tangent there, but okay. So let's see how many. I'm losing track here. Oh my gosh, one more. Look, I am cruising through today. All right, so here's the last question. May I ask for some tips and tricks on how to get faster, become more efficient cookier? I see people whipping out dozens and dozens of cookies, and she pulled an all-nighter. I know how that feels. I've done that before. Is there something that comes with experience? So it's kind of she goes on and on a little bit about, how do you plan your time? How many days ahead? How do you suggest to work around family and kids? Oh my gosh. So she's got a lot going on. So really just looking for some tips and tricks on how to become more efficient and maybe a little bit faster in your decorating because it is a process. Cookie decorating is a process. There are many steps. I think one time I counted, I think there were like 17 steps from start to finish when we're talking about purchasing the supplies to making the dough to cutting out and so forth from start to finish. So it is very involved. And I would say, honestly, it really comes down to practice. It takes time and practice. You will naturally get faster as you go. There's lots of things that would be pushing you to go faster. It might be time, it might be family, it might be money, it might be the volume of orders you want to take on. It might be that you've hired someone to help you. And that's one big thing I would say is don't think that it's too soon to have someone help you do some of the work. It may be a small investment, but I tell you, it's one of the things that looking back, I wish I would have. Yes, I'm going to say more than once. I wish I would have brought someone on much sooner than I did to help me get those orders done. I would have had a lot of less late nights and a lot of less late long weekends. So yes, but you know what? The fundamentals basically, just to help you because, you know, it might take time for you to get there. So a couple things, some strategies is, here's the thing, is to get a little faster. What you could do is just offer fewer designs, have fewer colors, have fewer shapes. So there are some ways that you can kind of rein in those orders. They can still be beautiful. Some of my most favorite designs are the most simple ones. I just did a masterclass on royal icing transfers. That is one little technique of many that will speed up the process. So there are many things that you can do to speed up your decorating. And then time-wise, you can spread out. Last thing I'll say is you can spread out the process. Cut out your cookies and bake one day, make the frosting another day, you know, figure out your designs another day, and then get down to, so you know exactly what you're doing and you're not sitting there looking at these cookies thinking, what am I going to do? You will know and you can get right down to decorating. That is another tip that's going to save you some time. All right, not too bad. Hope you enjoyed a Rapid Fire Friday. That was 5 questions in rapid fire format. I am really excited about the next couple of master classes. I'm going to work hard this weekend as I'm going away for a little couple-day retreat here to kind of strategize a little bit. But I have a 3-part series coming up on frosting consistencies. It is absolutely the #1 challenge that keeps coming in. I get DMs. I have people answering when they join the community. What is the biggest struggle? And it is frosting consistency. So we're going to go deeper on this topic. Next week, Wednesday, I'm going to be talking about dipping cookies, which is another way to speed up your workflow process. And then the following decorating masterclass will be piping consistency, and we're going to wrap up with flooding consistency. And I think with that last one, we'll bring it all together, and we'll do dipping, piping, and flooding, kind of just bring it all together in that last one. So again, if you are unable to watch these live, I always record them. And most recently, I have downloaded all of the Rapid Fire Fridays to YouTube. So please go ahead and follow me on YouTube, Edible Impressions, and you can watch them back to back if that's a little easier. That is wonderful. And then stay tuned for the next Business Sense Masterclass on the 20th of July. That will be posted very soon. This last week, I talked all things virtual experiences. So how to make them memorable and meaningful. Okay. Wow. I am done for the week, and I hope everybody has a lovely weekend as usual. I welcome you to engage in the community. Thank you so much for those that have been posting. I think there's just a really nice group of folks that just love what they do, and I appreciate all the sharing. And as always, you can always DM me if you have any questions or wonderments that you prefer not to put in the feed. So no problem. All right, take care, everybody. We'll see you again real soon.